Stop scrolling and pay close attention, because what is unfolding in Iraq right now is not speculation, hype, or the latest social media trend. This is a nationwide financial transformation of historic proportions. In 2026, Iraq has officially moved into a new era of banking. A system that once struggled with outdated processes, manual verifications, and fragmented communication is now fully operational under the SWIFT MX messaging standard, the global benchmark used by the world's most sophisticated banks. For anyone holding Iraqi dinar, following Iraq's economic trajectory, or interested in the stability of the national economy, this moment is critical. For decades, Iraq's banking system operated under conditions that hindered growth and limited international trust. Slow transaction verification, fragmented data, and reliance on manual processes created bottlenecks that prevented seamless interaction with global financial institutions. International banks were hesitant to engage because the systems in place could not meet the requirements for accuracy, compliance, and operational readiness. Even small errors or delays could disrupt transactions or limit foreign participation. Now, with SWIFT MX fully implemented nationwide, Iraq has removed a significant technical barrier, aligning its banks with the ISO 20022 standard that governs secure financial messaging globally. SWIFT MX is more than a technical upgrade. It is a transformation in the way banks communicate. By replacing legacy systems, SWIFT MX enables banks to exchange structured, machine-readable messages that include comprehensive payment instructions, settlement details, compliance checks, and transaction confirmations. This modern framework ensures precision, reduces human error, and accelerates the pace at which domestic and international transactions are processed. For Iraq, this is a foundational step toward global financial integration, moving away from isolated systems and toward digital connectivity that supports long-term credibility. The nationwide implementation of SWIFT MX is not a pilot program or a limited test in select branches. It represents full operational readiness across the country. Banks are now trained, systems have been tested rigorously, and daily operations are conducted within this new framework. Every transaction, whether domestic or international, is now documented in a structured, verifiable manner. This systemic consistency is essential for preventing fraud, strengthening regulatory compliance, and ensuring that every transfer can be verified against global standards. Operational readiness at this scale signals that Iraq has transitioned from potential to capability, and the implications extend far beyond banking processes. They impact the credibility of the Iraqi dinar and the nation's ability to participate fully in the modern global economy. Historically, the dinar was confined largely to domestic use, with minimal international visibility. Even when interest in the currency existed, technical barriers often delayed or prevented transactions. SWIFT MX removes much of that friction by enabling Iraqi banks to communicate clearly and securely with international partners. This upgrade does not mean instant changes in the dinar's value, but it does lay the groundwork for long-term trust and credibility. Accurate, compliant messaging ensures that every transaction can be verified and integrated seamlessly into global accounting systems. Achieving this milestone required years of meticulous preparation. Iraq undertook reforms to modernize banking laws, enhance compliance frameworks, train thousands of staff, and upgrade physical and digital infrastructure within branches. The SWIFT MX adoption is the culmination of this effort, representing the point where careful planning meets active execution. By operationalizing the system nationwide, Iraq has created an environment where transactions are secure, precise, and fully compliant with international standards. For Iraqi citizens and currency holders, the practical impact is immediate. Banks can process transactions faster, reduce errors, and minimize manual intervention, which improves both the customer experience and internal operational efficiency. Businesses benefit from real-time confirmation of payments, faster settlements, and stronger liquidity management. These enhancements are not superficial. They form the backbone of a modern banking system capable of sustaining long-term economic growth and attracting serious international investment. Swift MX also strengthens the central bank's oversight capabilities. Detailed transaction data allows for enhanced transparency, better monitoring of funds, and reduced risk of fraud or corruption. Regulators can now track the flow of money into and out of the country with unprecedented precision. Transparency at this level increases accountability across the financial sector and builds trust among citizens and international observers alike. The nationwide implementation of Swift MX is a historic milestone, signaling Iraq's commitment to modernization, compliance, and global connectivity. This is the beginning of a new financial era where preparation, discipline, and documented processes replace speculation, emotion, and uncertainty. The infrastructure is now in place. The country has moved beyond potential and into operational capability. As Iraq navigates this transformation, those who remain informed, patient, and organized will be best positioned to manage the opportunities this system creates. With Swift MX now fully operational nationwide, the conversation turns inevitably to the Iraqi dinar itself and its potential role on the global financial stage. For years, the dinar remained largely a domestic currency, with minimal international circulation or recognition. Technical limitations, outdated banking systems, and compliance gaps created barriers that slowed global engagement. International institutions were often hesitant to process transactions denominated in dinar due to incomplete data, slow verification, and inconsistent standards. Now, that barrier has been fundamentally altered. Swift MX equips Iraqi banks to send and receive transactions in a format that international partners can read, verify, and trust, laying the foundation for broader acceptance of the currency in legitimate global markets. It is crucial to understand that this does not translate into immediate changes in the dinar's market value or sudden overnight shifts. Swift MX creates the infrastructure of credibility, not speculative volatility. It establishes the conditions under which international confidence can grow naturally, through verified processes, transparency, and compliance. Every payment instruction, settlement confirmation, and transaction verification now travels with structured, auditable data that meets global ISO 20022 standards. This means banks worldwide can process Iraqi dinar transactions with confidence, a prerequisite for integrating any currency into the broader financial system. Compliance is central to this transformation. Global financial systems are built around stringent requirements: identity verification, anti-money laundering protocols, counter-terror financing regulations, and transaction monitoring. Prior systems in Iraq were not fully equipped to handle these demands efficiently. Swift MX enables banks to attach comprehensive information to each transaction, meeting international standards and reducing the likelihood of delays or blocked transfers. In practical terms, this is a major signal to global investors. Iraq is now prepared to operate with transparency, accuracy, and accountability at the highest level. The introduction of Swift MX also strengthens the cyclical relationship between trust and engagement. As compliance improves, international confidence rises. When confidence rises, global banks and investors are more willing to engage with Iraq, whether through trade, investment, or correspondent banking relationships. These relationships, once established, reinforce stability and support the long-term credibility of the Iraqi dinar. Unlike short-term speculation or unverified online rumors, this cycle is based on verifiable, structural improvements that have been rigorously tested and implemented. For holders of Iraqi dinar, the key takeaway is preparation over panic. This milestone is a signal to organize, document, and operate within legitimate banking channels. Large-scale transactions, particularly those that may involve international movement of funds, will require fully verified accounts, source of funds documentation, and adherence to newly defined compliance protocols. Even smaller transactions will be subject to structured, auditable procedures designed to protect both banks and individuals. Any promises of shortcuts or insider access should be regarded with extreme caution. Swift MX is built on transparency, not secrecy. It rewards adherence to rules, not speculation. Operational readiness nationwide also ensures consistency in domestic banking processes. Banks are now aligned in how they handle payment instructions, settlement confirmations, and interbank communication. This reduces the likelihood of errors, delays, or discrepancies that previously undermined both domestic and international trust. Citizens and businesses can now expect more reliable transactions, whether sending funds within Iraq or engaging with international partners. This reliability, when combined with enhanced compliance, strengthens Iraq's credibility in the global financial community. Another vital aspect of this transformation is the long-term stability it fosters. Financial systems that rely on structured, verified processes are less vulnerable to manipulation, misinformation, or panic-driven market fluctuations. Swift MX provides the tools for verification at every stage of a transaction, supporting an environment in which confidence can be measured by data, not speculation. This creates the conditions for sustainable engagement with international financial institutions and sets a new standard for how the Iraqi dinar can participate in global markets. The adoption of Swift MX is also a statement of Iraq's strategic commitment to modernization. It demonstrates that the nation is prepared to invest in robust financial infrastructure, staff training, and compliance frameworks that meet the expectations of the 21st century banking system. This strategic alignment signals to global partners that Iraq is serious about integrating with international networks, not simply experimenting or piloting systems without full operational capability. As a result, the implications for holders and observers of the Iraqi dinar are clear. This is a time to remain patient, organized, and informed. Verify every transaction, maintain accurate records, and engage only through legitimate channels. The system is now capable of handling complex, high-value transactions reliably and securely, but success depends on disciplined participation by those who interact with it. Swift MX is the framework. Preparedness and compliance are the tools individuals must wield. In summary, the nationwide rollout of Swift MX marks a historic turning point for the Iraqi dinar. It removes long-standing technical barriers, enhances compliance, and establishes the foundation for global recognition. While immediate value shifts are not guaranteed, the stage has been set for credible, verifiable, and sustainable integration into the international financial system. Confidence, trust, and transparency, built through careful implementation and adherence to standards, will define the future trajectory of Iraq's currency, rather than emotion, rumor, or speculation. Beyond the global and currency implications, the nationwide implementation of Swift MX has immediate, tangible effects within Iraq itself. For the average citizen and local businesses, this is a moment of operational transformation. Historically, Iraqi banks suffered from slow processing times, manual verification procedures, and inconsistent data handling. These limitations caused delays, errors, and frustration for customers, while increasing operational risk for banks. Swift MX fundamentally changes this dynamic. By standardizing and automating transaction messaging, banks can now process payments faster, reduce errors, and ensure that every step of a transaction is documented and verified. For businesses, the impact is substantial. Payments between domestic partners, suppliers, and clients now flow through a system capable of providing near real-time confirmation. This reduces disputes, accelerates settlement, and strengthens liquidity management, which is critical for companies that rely on timely cash flow. Small and medium-sized enterprises, in particular, benefit from the improved predictability and security of the banking system. The automation of these processes also frees up staff to focus on customer service and strategic financial management, rather than spending excessive time on manual reconciliations. The enhancements are equally significant for individual account holders. Everyday banking transactions, whether salary deposits, bill payments, or personal transfers, are now processed within a secure, verified, and auditable framework. Errors that once caused delays or confusion are dramatically reduced. Account holders can have confidence that their funds are handled according to global banking standards, with robust oversight built into every step of the process. Swift MX ensures transparency, which in turn builds trust between banks and their customers, a critical factor in fostering a healthy domestic financial ecosystem. Central to this domestic transformation is the role of the Iraqi Central Bank. SWIFT MX provides regulators with far greater visibility into the flow of funds across the banking system. Detailed, standardized transaction data allows regulators to monitor financial activity in real time, audit processes efficiently, and detect anomalies or irregularities before they escalate into larger systemic issues. This level of oversight reduces the risk of fraud or corruption and strengthens accountability across both public and private financial institutions. The ripple effect of this oversight benefits all participants in the system, from regulators and banks to citizens and businesses. Operational efficiency and transparency also intersect with financial literacy and public awareness. Citizens who understand how modern banking systems function are better positioned to navigate transactions, avoid fraud, and plan strategically for the future. SWIFT MX, by ensuring that transactions are structured and verifiable, indirectly supports this educational aspect by creating a banking environment where information is clear, traceable, and reliable. People are no longer forced to rely on informal channels or word-of-mouth assurances when dealing with their own money. Another critical advantage of this nationwide rollout is the reduction of operational risk for banks. Standardized messaging minimizes human error, reduces the need for manual intervention, and streamlines reconciliation between domestic branches and international partners. Banks are able to manage liquidity more effectively, make strategic decisions with accurate data, and maintain customer trust by ensuring reliable service delivery. These improvements create a virtuous cycle. Stronger banking operations lead to more reliable customer experiences, which in turn attract more depositors and investment into the system. It is also important to recognize the broader societal implications. A banking system that operates efficiently and transparently is foundational for economic growth. Improved transaction speed and reliability support commerce, encourage entrepreneurship, and enhance financial stability at the individual and community levels. As citizens experience smoother banking services, confidence in the financial sector grows, which contributes to domestic economic resilience and creates a more attractive environment for foreign investment. Despite these improvements, citizens must remain vigilant. As banking processes modernize, so too do the methods used by those attempting to exploit gaps in the system. Awareness, proper documentation, and adherence to legitimate banking channels are critical. Verification remains essential. Every transaction should be auditable and compliant with the new system standards. Patience and disciplined participation are key. Those who attempt to circumvent the process, seek shortcuts, or rely on unverified information may risk delays or complications. In summary, SWIFT MX transforms domestic banking operations in Iraq, improving efficiency, transparency, and security for both individuals and businesses. It strengthens the central bank's oversight, reduces operational risk, and enhances customer experience. Citizens now have access to a system that is not only aligned with global standards, but also designed to foster trust, reliability, and long-term economic stability. While global recognition and integration of the dinar are vital, these domestic improvements are equally critical. They create the foundation upon which Iraq's financial future is being built. As Iraq completes the nationwide implementation of SWIFT MX, the focus naturally extends beyond domestic efficiency to its integration into the global financial system. This milestone signifies not only a technical upgrade, but also a strategic positioning of Iraq within the modern international banking landscape. By adopting the ISO 20022 standard, Iraq now speaks the same financial language as Europe, Asia, and the Americas, enabling seamless interaction with global banks and investment institutions. This alignment is essential for building trust, reducing transactional friction, and ensuring that international partners view Iraq as a reliable and compliant participant in the financial world. For international investors and financial institutions, the adoption of SWIFT MX is a signal of operational maturity. Historically, foreign banks hesitated to engage with Iraqi institutions due to slow verification, incomplete transaction data, and inconsistent compliance practices. Today, every transaction is structured, auditable, and verifiable in real time, creating confidence that funds can be securely transferred and accurately accounted for. This level of reliability is a prerequisite for deeper engagement in trade, correspondent banking, and investment opportunities. By meeting these standards, Iraq removes a key barrier that previously limited its participation in the global economy. The strategic implications extend beyond banking alone. Modern, transparent, and efficient financial infrastructure supports trade expansion, encourages foreign direct investment, and strengthens the nation's ability to finance major infrastructure projects. When international institutions perceive Iraq as a stable and reliable financial partner, they are more likely to invest in long-term projects, provide loans, or participate in development initiatives. Each of these actions creates economic momentum, providing benefits for businesses, citizens, and the government alike. Global connectivity also enhances Iraq's ability to respond to external economic pressures. A financial system capable of seamless international integration is more resilient, flexible, and adaptive. It can handle cross-border transactions, currency conversions, and international settlements with speed and accuracy. This capability reduces dependence on ad hoc or informal financial channels, which historically carried higher risks of error, fraud, and delay. By adopting SWIFT MX, Iraq positions itself to mitigate these vulnerabilities while creating a foundation for sustainable economic growth. For holders of the Iraqi Dinar, this global integration emphasizes the importance of patience, documentation, and responsible engagement. SWIFT MX enables international recognition of the currency, but only through legitimate channels and verified transactions. High-value transfers will require proper verification of accounts, source of funds documentation, and adherence to compliance protocols. The system rewards discipline and organization, not speculation or shortcuts. This is a critical moment to ensure that holdings are secure, properly recorded, and transacted through recognized institutions. Those who ignore these principles risk delays, complications, or regulatory scrutiny. At a strategic level, Iraq's modernization is part of a broader trajectory of economic reform. Banking infrastructure forms the backbone of all other economic activity. Trade, construction, energy, and public services all rely on efficient financial systems. SWIFT MX strengthens the structural integrity of Iraq's economy, enabling other sectors to function more effectively. Improved transaction speed, operational efficiency, and regulatory compliance contribute directly to broader economic stability, making the nation more attractive to investors and more resilient to global market volatility. Importantly, this transformation also reinforces transparency and accountability. By ensuring that all financial messaging is structured, auditable, and compliant with international standards, Iraq reduces the risks of corruption, misuse, and unrecorded transactions. Transparency fosters confidence not only among international partners, but also among citizens and domestic businesses. A system that can be monitored in real time, audited effectively, and verified independently builds trust, which is essential for long-term financial stability. While the technical and operational improvements are clear, the human element remains critical. Banks, regulators, and citizens must adapt to new procedures, understand the requirements of verified transactions, and maintain vigilance against misinformation or fraud. Those who operate responsibly within the system will benefit from smoother transactions, greater confidence in the security of their funds, and opportunities to participate meaningfully in Iraq's growing economic engagement with the world. This phase of global integration also highlights the importance of long-term strategic thinking. Iraq is laying the foundation for sustainable economic participation, not chasing rapid speculative gains. The value of the Iraqi dinar, the confidence of international investors, and the reliability of domestic banking operations will grow organically as the system matures. SWIFT MX provides the mechanism. Discipline, compliance, and preparation determine the trajectory. By remaining informed, adhering to regulations, and engaging responsibly, both individuals and institutions can maximize the benefits of this historic transformation. In conclusion, the operationalization of SWIFT MX across Iraq is a landmark achievement that enhances global connectivity, strengthens investment potential, and solidifies Iraq's position in the international financial system. It ensures reliability, transparency, and efficiency while providing the essential infrastructure for economic growth. For currency holders, businesses, and policymakers, the message is clear. Preparation, compliance, and patience are key. The framework is now in place. The responsibility to act wisely rests with those who interact with it. The era of modern, globally integrated banking in Iraq has officially begun.